Ramses III, the pharaoh, ruled for many years, and Egypt grew prosperous under him. Early in his reign, he defeated invasions from Palestine and Libya. After this, he lived in peace with his neighbors and encouraged trade to such an extent that he became the richest of all pharaohs.
Bring me my master builder, Horemheb. Build me a mighty treasure house made it from the hewn stone of Syene. Make the floor of solid rock and the walls so thick that no man may pick a hole in them. And make the roof with stone into a tall pyramid, so that no entrance may be broken through that either.
O Pharaoh, life, health, and strength be to you. I will build such a mighty treasure house for you as the world has never seen, and no man will be able to break through it.
Once you're done, hand me those blocks.
Horeb set all the stonemasons in the land of Egypt to work day and night quarrying and hewing the stone from the hard rock of the edge of the desert, from the Syene near the Nile. When the stone was hewn, he caused it to be drawn on sledges down the Nile and loaded on boats, and they bore it to the western slabs where the temple of Ramses was already rising.
Care of the master builder, the walls raised and a pyramid was built over it, leaving a great treasure chamber in the middle. In the entrance he set sliding doors of stone, and when the untold riches of Pharaoh Ramses were placed in the chamber, the doors were locked and each was sealed with the Pharaoh's great seal. This was done so that no one would copy his seal, punishable by death, both here and in the Jewat, or the Egyptian underworld, where Osiris reigns as god of the afterlife. However, Horemheb, the master builder, played a trick on Pharaoh. In the thick wall of the treasure house, he made a narrow passage with a stone at either end, turning on a pivot that, when closed, looked and felt like any other part of the smooth, strong wall, except for those who knew where to feel for the hidden spring that held it firmly in place. By this secret entrance, Horemheb was able to add to the reward which Pharaoh gave to him when the treasure house was complete. Yet he did not add much, for very soon a great sickness fell upon him.
As Horeb lay on his deathbed, he told his two sons about the secret entrance to the treasure house. And then he died. The two young men made their good use of their knowledge of Pharaoh and soon realized that there was great treasure, so they would go in and take it through the secret entrance. But the Pharaoh could not figure out what was happening because the royal seals were never broken. Because of this, Pharaoh quickly became paranoid. He made frequent visits with his guards to the treasure house, and he knew every object of value. But the treasure continued to disappear. Go in the house. At last, Pharaoh commanded the traps to be set near the chests of gold. This was done secretly, and when the next two brothers made their way to the treasure house by the secret entrance, they found that they were caught in a trap, and they could not make an escape.
Help, brother, I'm caught in a snare. The Pharaoh will send his guards and torture me to tell all. And then they will find out about our secret passage and about you. They will come for you and maybe even our mother. Therefore I beg you, draw your sword and strike off my head and carry it away with you. Then I shall die quickly and easily, and no one will recognize my body, and you will at least be safe from Pharaoh's vengeance.
The second brother tried to break the trap, but at last realized it was in vain, and agreeing it was better for one of them to die than both, the brother cut off his other brother's head and took it carefully with him and buried it in reverence. When the dawn came, Pharaoh came to the treasure chamber and was astonished to find the body of a man in one of his traps, but there was no sign of the secret entrance, while it was quite certain all the seals on the doors had not been broken. Yet Pharaoh was determined to catch the treasure thief, so he gave orders that the body should be hung on the outer wall of the palace, and a guard stationed nearby to catch anyone who might try to take it away for burial, or who anyone came near to lament the body.
When the mother of the dead man heard that the body of her son was hanging on the palace wall and could not be given the sacred rites of burial, she turned upon her second son, saying,
If the body of your brother remains unburied, his spirit cannot find peace. Instead, he will wander forever as a ghost lost upon earth. Therefore, you must bring his body, or else I will go straight to Pharaoh and beg for it by the love which he bore for your father Horemheb, the master builder. If he learns that you are the treasure thief, I cannot help it, but I will at least bury you and your father and brother in the great tomb of Horemheb.
Mother, the burial at the head was enough. It's better for one of your sons to die than for both.
But she would not listen to him, and he was forced to promise to do his best to recover his brother's body. So he disguised himself as an old merchant, loaded a basket with bottles of wine, and set out along the road which ran by the palace wall. As he walked by the soldiers, he secretly poked a hole in the wine bottle. The wine ran onto the ground, and the false merchant wept and cried loudly, pretending to be so upset that he could not decide which of the bottles to save first.
Wine.
As soon as they saw what was happening, the soldiers of the guard came running to drink the wine before it hit the ground.
Wee.
Soon they were asleep and lay snoring on the ground with their mouths open. Darkness was falling, and the false merchant took down the body of his brother from the wall and carried it away on his donkey. When Pharaoh discovered the body was gone, he was very angry and had the guards beaten. Whatever the cost, I must have the treasure thief. The Pharaoh invented a new plan to catch the treasure thief. He disguised his own daughter, a royal princess, as a great lady from a foreign land, and she camped outside the city gates and offered herself in marriage to the man who could tell her the cleverest and wickedest deed he had done in all his life. The treasure thief guessed at once who the strange maiden was and why she was asking these questions. But he was determined to outdo Pharaoh in his cunning. So he went to visit the princess just as the sun was sinking, and he carried with him, under his cloak, the hand and arm of a man who had been executed for treason by command of Pharaoh.
Fair princess, I would win you as my wife.
Tell me the cleverest and wickedest thing that you have ever done, and I will say yes to you offer marriage, and they are more wicked and clever than any I have yet heard.
The most wickedest thing I did was to cut off my brother's head when he was caught in Pharaoh's trap and secret chamber of the treasure house. And the cleverest was to steal the body from under the noses of the guards who were sent to guard it.
Come quickly, this is my Pharaoh looking for. Quickly, I am holding him by the arm.
But when Pharaoh's attendants crowded in with their lighted torches and lamps, the treasure thief had already slipped away into the darkness, leaving the dead man's arm in the princess's hands, and she saw how cleverly she had been tricked.
When Pharaoh Ramses heard of this further example of daring and craftiness, he exclaimed,
This man is too clever to punish. The land of Chem prides itself on excelling the rest of the world in wisdom. But this man has more wisdom than anyone else in the land of Chem. Go, proclaim through the city of Thebes that I will pardon him for all that he has done, and reward him richly if henceforth he will serve me truly and faithfully.
So in the end, the treasure thief married the princess and became a loyal servant of Pharaoh Ramses III, nor did he ever have any further need to enter the royal treasure chamber by the secret entrance made by Horemheb, the master builder.